So before we proceed with the items on the agenda, I need to remind you of the usual housekeeping messages. There are no fire alarm tests planned for this evening, so if the alarm sounds, please leave the chamber by the nearest door, then follow the illuminated fire exit signs and assemble in the car park at the rear of the building. Would you all please ensure that your phones and tablets are on silent mode, please? And I'm sure I don't need to remind all the lovely people here today that everyone needs to respect the councillors and officers when business is being carried out. Obviously, if we have an interruption, it will have to be dealt with. You do have the right to film this meeting if you so wish, but I would like to know before we begin whether anyone in the room plans to do this. If you intend to film the meeting or part of it, would you please raise your arm now? I see one, two. Thank you. As per point 22 of the access to information procedure, I ask those filming the meeting as a matter of courtesy that your recording is visible to those attending and that the right to film or record is limited to the duration of the meeting only. I do have the discretion to terminate or suspend any filming or recording if I think it will prejudice proceedings. So before I say any more, I need to deal with a couple of formalities. First, apologies for absence. We have so far received apologies from Councillors Baxter, Cartridge, Fielding, Kay, Martin, Sorensen, Smith, Wells, Blair and Councillor Thewlis. Any other apologies? Next item is declarations of interest. So do any members or officers have any interest to declare on any items included in the agenda? If you do, please raise your arm. Thank you. So welcome to all members and guests to the annual meeting for 2026. To begin with proceedings, I have the honour of presenting the HMS Sheraton Trophy for 2026-27. I shall now remove myself to the end. So we have a winner of the trophy for 2025-26, and I've taken great pains to try and pronounce your surname correctly, so if I don't get it 100% right, I apologise. So the winner is Cara von der Merwe. If you'd like to step forward. What made her stand out was not only her sporting achievements, but her commitment at home with her family to support family needs. Normally success in sport needs single-mindedness, but Cara has not neglected her family needs at home. Give you this first, it's heavier. There you go.
Thank you.
I'd now like to make a short speech about my year in office and present donations to this year's charities, or at least one of them, because the other unfortunately can't make it this evening. I've enjoyed my year in office I've covered over 150 events, whether they be charities or public meetings, galas, and I've enjoyed every single one of them. I couldn't have done it without support, and everybody, from obviously our mayoral diary people, all the officers who are involved in the admin of the council, and of course my deputy here, Councillor Jane Preston. And if I've missed anybody else, I'm sorry. Right, my charities for 2025-26 were the Army Benevolent Fund and the Salvation Army. And unfortunately, the Army Benevolent Fund are unable to attend this evening, and they'll receive their donation at a later date. So can I then please invite the representative from the Salvation Army to the microphone at the end of the dais to receive their donation and say a few words. That's Major Thompson. I chose the Salvation Army as one because, especially when I've been to Fleetwood, I've seen them be the first in and the last out in bad situations, and they are really, throughout the country, a marvellous organisation. So I'd love to present you with that. If you'd like to say anything, feel free.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to say thank you very much for this morning visiting and the support that you've given. We do our best to support those who are vulnerable, who are homeless, suffering with addictions and loneliness. Thanks to your generosity and support, that goes a long way, not just with the physical money, but it shows to people that they are cared for by the community, and that is so important. So can I just say thank you so much to you for your support and kindness that you show in the world that very much needs it today. Thank you.
So we go into another year. Strange needing a microphone. I would like to thank my Deputy Councillor Jane Preston for her support during this year. I have a new Deputy Mayor being sworn in the very near future. So my charities for 2026-27 will be Westview Community Association in Fleetwood, and that is mainly down to the work that outgoing Horatio has put in. And the second one, you may know, is the Pantry in Fleetwood, which is also involved in helping people with food. And when I visited them, I was so impressed with the fact that they were friends with the people that relied on them. It wasn't just take your food and go, it was a proper friendly meeting. So, the next item is the formal election of the Mayor for 2026-27. I'll now pass over to the Chief Executive to introduce this item.
Good evening, everyone. Can I please have a nomination for the Office of Mayor for 2026-27?
Mr Mayor, Members of Parliament, County Councillors, Honorary Aldermen, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen. I had the pleasure of proposing Councillor Nichols last year, and in my nomination speech told members and attendees all about his life and escapades prior to him becoming a councillor. This year, to keep things fresh, I shall focus instead on his past mayoral year and what he wants to achieve in the coming one. Steve's first year as Mayor will always be tinged with sadness. Since before I was elected in 2007, being the Mayor of this borough had a significant perk: the loyal, dedicated, unrivalled service and assistance of Peter Hutton. Peter was sadly taken from his family, friends, church and this borough far too soon. While this evening should be one of celebration and looking to the future, Peter was far too important to Steve and all previous mayors, as well as this council and its residents, for us not to pay tribute to him again this evening. Steve misses Peter in many parts of the role of Mayor, but perhaps most of all when he tries to put the chains on. Instead of standing to attention and Peter placing them ceremoniously upon him, he has to remove the medallion, fumble the chain into place and then reattach it. It was Peter who encouraged Steve to seek a second term if the opportunity arose, as he recognised his commitment to the role and the people of this borough. High praise indeed, given who gave it. Peter's wife and family are here tonight, and so on behalf of myself, all members and officers of this council, and the people of the Borough of Wyre, I'd like to thank him and them again for his years of service. Steve tells me that he has been overwhelmed by how many people there are in Wyre working tirelessly to provide help, care and support for those who need it most. He was delighted to attend the relaunch of Fleetwood Youth Hub, run by a great bunch of people who have done so much to provide counselling and mental health support for our young residents. There have been many people who've stood out, but Steve was particularly impressed by Karen from Care for Fleetwood, who also runs Jars for Joy and seems to spend every waking moment helping others. Steve was delighted to attend the coffee roast at Priesel and all other town and village celebrations. As we learned last year, Steve is a dedicated musician, and so he's taken great pleasure in attending the various school and college concerts in the borough, as well as many more theatrical performances. I asked Steve about the funniest moments of the year, and he shared surprisingly fond memories of how wet everyone got at the launch of the Poulton Partnership. Several children have asked how much the mayoral chains are worth. It would be very easy for me to make a Scouser joke here, but I shall resist the temptation. Steve has raised a great deal for his charities and has 2 new ones for the coming year. One has been the Salvation Army, and Steve tells me that the standard of property they provide in Fleetwood is so high that he'd be delighted to actually live in one himself.
Yeah.
While on his travels, he's met many dedicated and committed people, but none more so than our youth mayor, Horatio. His work with the Westview Community Centre has inspired Steve enough that they shall be one of his charities for the year ahead, along with the Pantry in Fleetwood, who I and he have mentioned earlier. As he said himself, he's attended more than 150 events this year, and at each of them people first see the chains and conversations are quite formal before they start to see the man behind the chains and everyone relaxes. He's formed good relationships with his fellow mayors and many of the regular faces he sees at events, and I know he will enjoy making friendships with this year's mayors as well. Mr Mayor, I propose that that Councillor Nichols be re-elected to the office of Mayor of the Borough of Wyre for the municipal year 26-27.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for that proposal?
Yes, I'm delighted to second the nomination of Steve to serve a second year as Mayor. Steve showed real determination, leadership and commitment to our community throughout the year. He's represented us with pride and professionalism, and I know he will continue to do so in the year ahead. I'm very pleased to support your nomination.
Thank you. We will now move to the formal votes. Those for. Okay, thank you. That is unanimous, so I can confirm that Councillor Steve Nichols is duly elected to the office of Mayor for 2026-27.
Thank you, everybody. Now I've got to stab it at the end again with 1 or 2 other people. I, Steve Nichols, having been elected to the office of Mayor of the Borough of Wyre, hereby declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to be guided by the Wyre Borough Council Code of Conduct in the performance of my functions in that office. I'd like to thank all councillors for my reappointment. I'll do my best not to let you or the community down during this coming year. So the next item is the election of Deputy Mayor for 2026-2027. So can I please have a nomination for the office of Deputy Mayor for 2026-27?
Mr Mayor, Members of Parliament, County Councillors, Honorary Aldermen, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to propose Councillor Stephen Livesey to be our next Deputy Mayor. Stephen was elected as a councillor for Stanner Ward in 2023. He's very proud to represent the residents of Stanner, where he has lived for over 60 years. Steve is married to Barbara, who will be his consort. They will soon be celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. Steve and Barbara have 2 children, Claire and Craig, and 5 grandchildren aged between 27 and 6 years old. Claire and Craig are here this evening, and I'm sure that they are proud to support their mum and dad. I know that Steve feels that the most important thing in his life is his family and his home, and he has enjoyed holidays all over the world with Barbara and the family. I think I'm also allowed to say that he enjoys playing golf as well. In his professional life, Steve is a building surveyor and is a building surveyor and quantity surveyor. But his forte is that of construction project manager in retail design, building and fitting out stores for firms such as Norweb and Comet. And it may be of interest to you that he was headhunted to build stores in Russia, where he and Barbara lived for 3 or 4 years. And there he became acquainted with how things were done over there, but I'm not going to go into that this evening. Locally, he's designed and project managed the construction of many individual properties, including building his own home in Stanner with his own hands and his own handiwork. All these skills and business experience he has brought to the council. In his 3 years as councillor, he served on planning and planning policy group committees and vice chair of audit and standards. He has taken part in the vital work of our task groups, including simpler recycling, fly tipping, which he chaired, and currently he is chairing a group looking at the application of Section 106 monies. He represents the council at the North West Employers Association, and he's a trustee of various charities, including Thornton-Cleveland's Baines Endowed School, Baines Charity, and the John Sykes Dewars Bequest. All this experience gained from a business professional life, the wide-ranging work he's done as a councillor, and his ability to get on easily with people will make Steve an excellent deputy mayor. And I know he's eager to assist you, Mr. Mayor, in carrying out your civic duties. He's already penciled in his diary over 12 visits and events, and he would like to attend. The first one is tomorrow morning, believe it or not. I'm sure you will both be a great team working together to represent Wyre. I therefore wish to propose that Councillor Stephen Livesey be elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Wyre for the municipal year 2026 to 2027. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Can we have a seconder, please?
Will it be taken? Yes, thank you. Mr. Mayor, Member of Parliament, County Councillors, Councillors, Honorary Aldermen, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, and to whom it may concern. I have been a close friend of Councillor Livesey for over 45 years. And indeed it was I who caused him into becoming a councillor victim. He is, as we all know, a very capable councillor who takes his duties very seriously. That is what makes him an excellent choice to be Mr. Deputy. And I wish the rest of the councillors and myself will support him in this coming year, which is 26-27. And I hope that both the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor have a great term in office. That I would like to say to finish that Councillor Livesey be elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Wyre for the municipal year 26-27. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. So can we now confirm this proposal? Those for, if you'll raise your hands, please. Thank you. Put your hands down. I think that was unanimous, so I'll double check. No one against or abstaining? No. I then declare Councillor Stephen Livesey to be duly appointed as Deputy Mayor for 2026 and 2027.
Thank you. I, Stephen Livesey, having been appointed to the office of Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Wyre, hereby declare that I take that office upon myself and will only and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to be guided by the Wyre Borough Council Code of Conduct in the performance of my functions in that office. Thank you.
Rebecca's not wearing the wig. Properly dressed. Properly dressed.
Well, I think I've told you about my plans for the year, such as they are. The main aim is to attend and assist with as many events as I can. Raise some reasonable funds for the two charities who I mentioned before. So the next item is number 8, the appointment of the Youth Mayor of Wyre. So I'll now make an announcement regarding the youth mayor. I'm being ignorant already. Go on, spout then.
See, it's going to be a tough year, you got in the microphone. Mr Mayor, Member of Parliament, County Councillors, Councillors, Honorary Aldermen, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, thank you, Councillor Berry, for the nomination, and to Councillor Minto for your kind endorsement. Though I must admit, waiting for your speech with a certain amount of trepidation.
Thank you,
I'm also deeply grateful to my colleagues across the Chamber for placing your trust in me. Mr Mayor, it's an absolute privilege to serve alongside you for the next 12 months. I'm eager to help shoulder the demanding schedule of your civic duties, a workload whose true scale and dedication I'm only now beginning to appreciate. As Councillor Berry noted, my diary is already filling up fast. With over a dozen engagements locked in starting tomorrow morning, I'm certainly hitting the ground running. Joining me on this journey is my wife and consort, Barbara, who is watching from the gallery today alongside my family and friends. When I retired 7 years ago from work, Barbara imagined that our future would be one of a continuous holiday. While this role changes things, she hasn't lost that hope yet. She's already searching my calendar for any gaps between meetings and engagements and trying to fill them as quickly as a travel agent on commission. Thank you all for your warm wishes, your confidence and your support. And you, Mr Mayor, for letting me share your microphone. Thank you all.
So as Councillor Livesey said, the Deputy Consort for the year 2026-27 will be his wife Barbara, and she will be invested in her chain following the conclusion of this meeting. So thank you. I'm now going to present the following, the past Deputy Mayor's badge to Councillor Preston. So if I can meet her at the dais at the end. Yep. And get onto this bloody big chair. Another piece of bijouterie for you.
Thank you very much, thank you.
And thank you for your help over the last year, 2 years really.
Yes.
Lots of good fun. So our next item is 8, the appointment of the Youth Mayor of Wyre. I'll now make an announcement regarding the Youth Mayor, and I have the pleasure of thanking our outgoing Youth Mayor, Horatio Hanley, for all your hard work during your time as Youth Mayor. Before I ask you to come up to receive your token, I'd like to say that you've worked tirelessly, especially for the Westview Community Association, and the sad part is that your year's over. So please come along to the end and accept the token with my heartfelt thanks and everyone else's. fast, you can hang that where you like.
Well done.
I have one more appointment to make at this point, and that's the appointment of the Youth Mayor for 2026-2027. Amelia Sherry, if you'd like to come up. Not only do you do social interaction, but you will actually go out and talk to people in real time. So good luck. There you go. Well, we'll go against the rules. Do you want to actually say anything? So thank you. That concludes this evening's ceremonial proceedings. So we'll now proceed with item 9 on the agenda, which is appointments to committees, panels and groups for 2026-2027. So Councillor Vincent, would you please introduce the report and propose the recommendation?
We've got 4 members, Mr Mayor.
Is there a seconder?
Yes, I'd like to second that, Mr Mayor.
Any comments, questions or amendments? I'll take that as a grateful no. So, Councillor Vincent, you've not been asked any questions, but if there are any before we go any further, is there anybody who wants to ask him a question about it? No? Right answer. So, Councillor Vincent, as the proposer of the recommendations, would you please respond with anything further you want to say?
You just move to the vote, Mr Mayor.
Okay. That concludes the debate. So, would members please vote now on the recommendations? Those in favour, please show. You can put your hands down now. I don't think there are any against or any abstentions, but speak now or forever hold your peace if there are. So the recommendations are approved. The next item is item 10, annual appointments to outside bodies. So again, Councillor Vincent, would you please introduce the report and propose the recommendations?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The report's before members. Happy to propose that.
Is there a seconder?
I'd like to second that, Mr Mayor.
So do we have any comments, questions or amendments? So those in favour, please show. Been counted yet? Hands down. So the recommendations are approved. There's the bit I want you to say. Thank you, everybody. That concludes the meeting.